Warning: the video you are about to watch may or probably will contain scenes and language of a highly adult nature. If you are under the age of 18, stop watching now. Watch one of my other videos. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey, what is up, guys? This is Couch Potato Mike back in the book club for chapter 33 of Freed. Before we jump into tonight's chapter, I want to remind you guys to hit the bell icon so you know when more of these are coming out. Give this video a thumbs up because it helps out with that YouTube algorithm. And first and foremost, subscribe. What are you guys doing to me? Subscribe, come on. It's absolutely free, and if you don't like it, just stay subscribed and just don't turn into the channel anymore. Just subscribe. Please. Alright, now jumping into chapter 33, which takes place on Sunday, September the 11th, 2011. Anna is curled up on the sofa in our suite, reading a manuscript that she had printed out at the hotel. She's calm and focused, the little V forming between her brows as she scribbles her blue penciled hieroglyphics in the margins. Occasionally, she chews her plump lower lip, and I don't know if it's a judgment on what she's reading or if she's immersed in the narrative, but it has the usual effect on my body. I want to bite that lip. Smiling to myself, I remember my surprise wake-up call this morning. Anna is becoming more and more proactive when it comes to sex, but as the beneficiary of her passions, I'm not complaining. I think seeing her nearest and dearest at this difficult time has been therapeutic. Having said that, it's been an emotional morning. After a convivial breakfast with our family and friends, we said goodbye to everyone except Carla and Bob. My parents have driven back to Seattle. Stefan has flown Elliot, Mia, Kate, and Ethan back home in Charlie Tango. Ryan, who's still in Seattle, will pick them up at Boeing Field. After everyone left, Carla, Anna, and I visited Ray. Well, Carla and Anna did. I gave them some privacy and worked in the waiting room until it was time to take Carla and Bob to the airport. We delivered them into the safe hands of our first officer Bailey and her co-pilot, who were standing by with the Gulfstream. Anna said a tearful farewell to her mother, and now we're back in our suite, cooling our heels after a light lunch. I think Anna is reading to distract herself from thinking about Ray. I'd just like to go home, but I guess that depends on Ray's recovery. I hope he wakes shortly, and we can make plans to move him to Seattle and return to Escala. I don't mention this to Anna, though. I don't want to add to her worries. I've had my fill of reading, so I pass the time as I've started assembling a collage of photographs for my wife to use as a screensaver on the laptop and phone. I have so many photographs of her from our honeymoon, and in all of them, Anna is stunning. I'm delighted to have captured her in so many different moods: laughing, pensive, pouting, amused, relaxed, happy, and in some, she's scowling at me. Those are the photos that make me grin. I'm reminded of the shock at seeing her image large and lovely at Jose Rodriguez's exhibition and our conversation afterwards. I want you that relaxed with me. I glance over at her. Here she is, relaxed, absorbed in her work. Mission accomplished, Gray. We'll hang that other photograph in our new house, and maybe I'll put one of them in the study at Escala. She looks up. What? I tap my index finger against my lip and shake my head. Nothing. How's the book? It's a political thriller set in a dystopian, surreal future. Sounds riveting. It is. It's a take on Dante's Inferno by a new writer who's based in Seattle, Boyce Fox. Anna's eyes shine, animated with the thrill of a good book. I can't wait to read it. She smiles and returns to her manuscript. Smiling, I return to my collage. A little later, she gets up, a little? Sorry, guys, I screwed that up a little bit. A little later, she gets up and wanders over to me, her expression hopeful. Can we go back? Of course. I close my laptop, pleased with my photo montage of my Mrs. Anastasia Gray. Will you drive? She asks. Sure. Taylor is visiting his daughter, and I've given Sawyer the day off. Lifting my glass of wine, I take a sip. What would you like to do now? I keep my tone gentle and hopeful and a little seductive. My iPod is playing some serene tunes in the background. I know what I want to do, but she's had an emotional day. What do you want to do? Is this a trick question? I raise a brow, amused. What I always want to do. And that is? Mrs. Gray, don't be coy. She purses her lips and with her secret smile and reaching across the table grasps my hand and turns it over. With great care she skates her index finger over my palm, which tingles in response. It's an odd feeling that takes my breath away. I'd like you to touch me with this. Her voice is low and provocative as her fingertip continues brushing over my index finger. Her touch echoes everywhere. Fuck. I shift in my chair. Just that? Maybe this. She traces a line along my middle finger and back to my palm. And this? She weaves a path up to my wedding ring. Definitely this. She stops, her finger pressed against my platinum ring. This is very sexy. Is it now? It sure is. It says, this man is mine. Hell, I'm hard. Yes, Anna, yours. Using her fingernail, she outlines the small callus that's formed when my palm rubs against my ring. Her eyes on mine, her pupils dilate, the dark overcoming the bright blue. She beguiles me. Leaning forward, I capture her chin in my hands. Mrs. Gray, are you seducing me? I hope so. Anastasia, I'm a given, always. Come here. I pull her into my lap and hold her. I like having unfettered access to you. To prove it, I run my hand up to her naked thigh, to her behind, then clasping the nape of her neck with my other hand, I angle her head to kiss her. Thoroughly. Exploring her mouth and savoring the feel of her tongue against mine as her fingers find my hair. She tastes of apple pie and Anna, with a hint of fine Chablis. It's a stimulating combination in every sense. We're both breathing hard when I pull away. Let's go to bed, I whisper against her lips. Bed? She scoffs. Oh. I lean back and tug her hair so I'm looking directly into her eyes. Where would you prefer, Mrs. Gray? She shrugs, nonchalant, challenging. Surprise me. You're feisty this evening. I run my nose down hers, while a list of possibilities form in my mind. Maybe I need to be restrained. Maybe you do. You're getting mighty bossy in your old age. What are you going to do about it? She squares her shoulders in that way she does, ready for battle. Oh, Anna, I know what I'd like to do about it. Depends on if you're up to it. Oh, Mr. Gray, you've been very gentle with me these last couple of days. I'm not made of glass, you know. You don't like gentle? With you, of course. But you know, variety is the spice of life. She flutters her eyelashes. You're after something less gentle? Something life-affirming. Wow. Life-affirming. Astonished, I gaze at her as all manner of sexual scenarios pop most welcome into my mind. She nods, gazing into my eyes and teasing her lower lip with her teeth. On purpose. She's goading me. She wants life-affirming? I can oblige. Don't bite your lip. I tighten my grip on her and rise, holding her close. She gasps in surprise and grabs my arms while I carry her across the room and settle her on the farthest sofa. I have a plan. I want to see how far her newfound sexual confidence extends, and I want to watch. Wait here. Don't move. She turns her head, her eyes tracking me as I head to the bedroom. I scan the room and remember one of the presents she opened this morning at breakfast, some fancy toiletries from Kate. In the smart presentation box, I discover a small bottle of scented moisturizing oil, dark amber and sandalwood. Perfect. I slip it into the rear pocket of my jeans. From the bathroom, I retrieve both belts from our hotel bathrobes and grab one of the largest bath towels. Back in the living room, I'm pleased to find Anna has stayed on the couch. Obedience, at last! She can't see me as I approach her from behind, or hear me as I'm barefoot. She gasps when I lean over and grab the hem of her t-shirt. I think we'll dispense with this. I drag it over her head and toss it on the floor, admiring how her nipples peak in response to the brush of the material and the cooler temperature of the room. I grab her ponytail, tipping her head back and claiming her mouth with a brief kiss. "Stand up," I murmur against her skin. She obliges, naked except for her panties. I lay the towel over the sofa, not wishing to get oil or anything else on the fabric. "Take your panties off." I look directly at Anna. She swallows, with her eyes fixed on mine as she obeys, without hesitating. I like this version of Anna. "Sit." She does as she's told, and I grasp her ponytail once more, twirling her soft hair between my fingers. I tug it, pulling back her head, and stand over her. "You'll tell me to stop if this gets too much, yes?" She nods. "Damn it, Anna. Say it." "Yes," she answers, her voice a little shrill and breathy, betraying her excitement. I smirk and pitch my voice low. "Good. So, Mrs. Gray, by popular demand, I'm going to restrain you. I've chosen this, the only sofa that has finials, for a reason. Bring your knees up and sit right back." Once more she complies without hesitation. Taking her left leg, I wrap a belt from one of the robes around her lower thigh and tie a slip knot above her knee. "Bathrobes?" Anna asks. I'm improvising. I tie the other end of the finial at the back left-hand corner of the sofa and tug, parting her thighs. "Don't move." I do the same with her right leg, tying the other belt to the back right finial. Anna is splayed out, her legs spread wide, revealing all she has to offer, her hands by her sides. "Okay?" I ask, drinking in the view from above. She nods and looks up at me, soft, sweet, vulnerable, mine. Bending down, I kiss her. "You have no idea how hot you look right now." I rub my nose against hers, fighting my anticipation of what's to come. Change of music, I think. I wander over to my iPod. I scroll through artists, select a track, press repeat and play. "Sweet About Me." Perfect. As Gabriella Silmi's sugary, sultry voice fills the room, I turn and lock eyes with my trussed-up naked wife and saunter back to her. Her gaze doesn't leave mine as I sink down onto my knees in front of her to worship at her altar. Her mouth parts as she inhales. "Oh, Anna, let's see how far your confidence has grown." I know what she's feeling. "Exposed? Vulnerable?" I ask. She licks her lips and nods. "Good," I whisper. "Baby, you've got this. Hold out your hands." From my back pocket I withdraw a small bottle of oil. Anna holds up her cupped palms and I pour a little oil into her hands. The scent is heavy but not unpleasant. "Rub your hands." She wriggles on the couch. Oh, this will never do. "Keep still," I warn. Anna stops squirming. "Now, Anastasia, I want you to touch yourself." She blinks, surprised, I think. "Start at your throat and work down." Her teeth dig into that bottom lip. "Don't be shy, Anna. Come, do it. Come on, Anna." She places her hands on either side of her neck, then glides them down to the tops of her breasts, leaving a slick shine over her skin in their wake. "Lower," I whisper. After a beat, her hands embrace her breasts. "Tease yourself." Tentatively, her darkening eyes on mine, she takes each of her nipples between thumb and forefinger and gently tugs on both. "Harder," I urge her, feeling like the serpent in the garden. "Like I would," I add, gripping my own thighs to keep myself from touching her. She groans in response and squeezes and tugs harder. I watch each pucker and lengthen under her touch. Damn, she's hot. Yes, like that. Again. She closes her eyes and moans and rolls and twists them between her finger and thumbs. "Open your eyes." My voice is hoarse. She blinks them open. "Again," I order. "I want to see you enjoy your touch." She continues, her eyes clouded with dark longing, her breathing increasing as desire consumes her, while my yearning matches hers. This must be making her so wet. My pants are getting tighter by the second. Enough. Hands. Lower. She squirms. Keep still, Anna. Absorb the pleasure. Lower. You do it, she whispers. Oh, I will, soon. You, lower, now. She has no idea how fucking hot she looks right now. She glides her hand beneath her breasts, over her stomach, toward her belly as she writhes, pulling on the robe restraints. No, no, I shake my head. Still. Placing my hands on each of her knees, I hold her in place. Come on, Anna, lower. Her hands slide down to her belly. Lower, I mouth. Christian, please, she begs. I skim my hands from her knees along her thighs toward her exposed junction at the top of her legs. My end goal. Her goal. Come on, Anna. Touch yourself. Her left hand grazes her vulva as she starts to rub her fingers in a slow circle over her clitoris. She breathes, her mouth forming that badly drawn O. Again, the word is a whisper and a command. She groans, gasping for air, and closes her eyes, tipping her head back against the sofa as her hand moves. Again. She groans again, and I don't want her to come without me. Grabbing her hands, I hold them firmly and bend down between her thighs, running my nose and tongue over her clitoris. Back and forth, again, taking her higher. She's so wet, dripping with her lust. She cries and tries to move her hands. I tighten my fingers around her wrists while I continue my sensual onslaught. I'll restrain these too. Keep still. I breathe against her most intimate place. Anna groans and I release her, then slowly ease 2 fingers inside her. So wet, so ready, so greedy. The feel of my hand pushes up against her clitoris, and I'm going to make you come quickly, Anna. Ready? Yes, she breathes, nodding frantically. I move my hand hard, fast, stimulating her both inside and out. She mules above me, her head twisting to and fro, her toes curling and her fingers clawing at the towel beneath her. I know she wants to straighten her legs to lessen the intense feeling, but she can't. She's close. So close. But I don't stop, and I feel it, the beginning of the end. Her orgasm coming. Surrender, I whisper, and she cries out, loud and proud, and I press the heel of my hand against her clitoris and ride out her orgasm, which goes on and on. Wow, Anna. With my other hand, I untie the robe belts one at a time. As she descends back to earth, I murmur, my turn. Withdrawing her fingers from inside her, I ease back and flip her over so she's face down on the sofa. Her knees on the floor, I yank open my jeans, spread her legs on my knees, and slap her hard across her beautiful backside. Ah! She cries, and I drive into her as deep as I can. She cries out again. Oh, Hannah, I breathe, and gripping her hips, I start to move, hard, fast. Again, taking my pleasure. She wanted it rough. We aim to please. I drive into her, losing myself in her, so in her. Her cries take me higher. Fuck, she's building again. I feel it. Come on, Anna, I shout, and she comes once more, taking me over the edge with her. I ease her off the sofa and we lie down on the floor where she sprawls on top of me, facing the ceiling. We're quiet, catching our collective breath. Life affirming enough for you? I ask eventually as I kiss her hair. Oh, yes. Her hands settle on my thighs as she tugs at the material of my jeans. I think we should go again. No clothes for you this time. Again? Christ, Anna, give a man a chance. She giggles, and I can't help laughing with her. I'm glad Ray's conscious. Seems all your appetites are back. She turns over, still on top of me, and scowls. Are you forgetting about last night and this morning? She pouts and rests her chin on her hands on my chest. Nothing forgettable about either of those. I grin and grab her bountiful behind with both hands. You have a fantastic ass, Mrs. Gray. So do you, she arches a brow. Though yours is still undercover. And what are you going to do about that, Mrs. Gray? Why, I'm going to undress you, Mr. Gray. All of you. Her enthusiasm is infectious. And I think there's a lot that's sweet about you, she whispers, repeating the song lyric, her eyes radiating her warmth and love. Shit. You are, she stresses and kisses the corner of my mouth. Closing my eyes, I tighten my arms around her. Why are you talking about this? Christian, you are. You made this weekend so special in spite of what happened to Ray. Thank you. Large, luminous eyes meet mine. Because I love you, I murmur. I know, she says. I love you too. She runs her fingertips down my cheek. And you're precious to me too. You do know that, don't you? Precious? Me? Suddenly I'm helpless and panicked and completely disarmed. What do I say? Not now, maggot. Fuck. I close my eyes. I don't want that in my head. Believe me, she whispers, and I open them once more, gray eyes to blue. It's not easy. My words are almost inaudible. I don't want to talk about this. It's too raw right now. For some reason I don't understand. She holds such power over me. That's why. Try hard because it's true. She caresses my face, and I know she means what she says. If only I could hear it without panicking inside. You'll get cold. Come. I move her to one side and stand, pulling her to her feet, too. Leaving the detritus of our lovemaking, Anna slips her arms around me. I switch off the iPod and we stroll back into the bedroom while I wonder about my reaction. Why is it still so hard to hear her declarations of love sometimes? I shake my head. Shall we watch TV? Anna asks, and I know she's trying to recapture our former levity. I was hoping for round 2. She eyes me speculatively. Oh, in that case, I think I'll be in charge. Oh? She pushes me suddenly with such force that I fall onto the bed. Before I know it, she straddled me and is pinning my arms down on either side of me. Well, Mrs. Gray, now that you've got me, what are you going to do with me? Leaning down, her breath tickling my ear, she whispers, I am going to fuck you with my mouth. Oh boy. I close my eyes as she runs her teeth along my jaw, and I surrender to her. I surrender to the love of my life. Well, that chapter certainly was a mouthful, especially at the end, apparently, but we didn't get to hear about that. So that's going to do it for this episode. Yeah, I know. I'm like half of you now, your jaws have just dropped open. It's fucking hilarious. So until we see each other again, this is Couch Potato Mike reminding you that in the end we're all stories. So let's make them good ones. See you next time, guys.